Welcome to Problems We're Solving. I'm your moderator, Eric LaRose. On the show, we take a look at a common issue mid-level manufacturers face on a regular basis. Then, we dissect them, provide insight on how you can address these challenges, and grow your business. I'm joined by VX Group President Eric Zaromsky to talk about something we all need: customers. But not just any customers, ideal customers. When you think about it, there are two kinds of customers: those who buy from you and those who grow with you. Today, we're talking about the latter, specifically how you identify these ideal customers, attract them, and nurture them. So today we're talking about ideal customer profiles. The common myth is that anybody who has a check that will clear is a good customer. But Eric, as you've discovered, this is not always the case. What makes an ideal customer?
Well, I think it's true that a lot of people do believe that any customer is a good customer. And when you look at, you take a careful look at your customer base and, start to segment it out, you can see which ones, are really the ones that are driving your business and which ones, maybe are holding your business back or making you invest in resources, that you might not otherwise need if you were really focused on servicing the customers that have the biggest impact on your business.
And you actually bring up something that's kind of interesting there, that customers can actually cost you money if they're not ideal customers.
Well, it's oftentimes that you may be thinking you're making a profit because you're selling them a product or a service, that hopefully inherently has profit built into it. But unfortunately, a lot of times the overhead associated with servicing those customers can quickly eat away at any profit that you might have. Oftentimes, customers that don't fit your ideal customer profile are ones that they may be the smaller customers from a revenue perspective, and those may require or demand a high level of service. So you're investing a lot to retain a relationship with a small customer that never is going to have the potential to really have a significant impact on your business overall.
Now, every business has ideal customers, along with a larger pool of customers who just buy stuff from you. Ideally, there's a ratio of these two customer groups you should be working toward. We'll talk about that in a second. First, a question for you. How well do you know your sales data? That's the key, because within that data, you can easily see who is a customer and who is an ideal customer.
Yeah, one of the most common things to do, or one of the kind of first step things to do, is to what we would call 80-20 your customer base.
Okay.
The 80-20 concept is based on what's called the Pareto principle. So it's the idea that, in almost anything, 80% of something comes from 20% of something else. So in sales and when looking at a customer portfolio, when you look at many businesses, 80% or more of their revenue likely comes from approximately 20% of their customer base. And while it seems like a very simple concept and one that you'd go, well, that can't be true. If you do it on your business, you're going to find out it's probably true. In fact, you'll probably find out that it's more like 90-10, 85-15 than it is even 80-20.
Is that ratio good? 80-20?
Well, it tells you that if 80% of your revenue is coming from 20% of your customers. So if you have 100 customers, 20 of those are delivering the vast majority of your revenue. The other 80 are probably a distraction to your business and are ultimately either taking your eye off of the 20% that are high performing customers, which increases your risk of, potentially losing a customer or not maximizing the potential that you might have with them, because you're dealing with the 80 that, one of the 80 that maybe represents 1% of your revenue is, a pain in the ass. They're screaming, they're hollering, they're emailing, they got problems, they're arguing with you about price, they're questioning delivery. They're micro analyzing invoices.
They need something absolutely right now, and you have to stop everything to give them that one thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if you're a manufacturer, that product that you're running for them, may be inhibiting you or preventing you from doing much higher value business. Once you do that 80-20 analysis and you start to look at, the 20% or so of your customer base that make up the majority of your revenue, you start to look at them and see characteristics across that customer base that start to provide the indicators that help you define who your ideal customer is.
And therefore who you should be going after as an ideal customer.
Right. If we've got a sales force out in the field, we want to direct them towards ideal customers and tell them to stop pursuing non-ideal customers. Because salespeople without direction will chase any shiny object that they see.
Right.
And that shiny object may be great for the business, at least that's the hope, but that shiny object may be, just another shit show, for lack of a better term, that gets tossed over the wall into production, and now you got production in turmoil because they're dealing with a customer that's not a good fit, and now you've created distraction, and you're not really maximizing the opportunity that you might have by focusing on working with customers that are a good fit for your business.
Right. And when you've got those ideal customers too, that's a way to grow the company. You're not making the one sale. You're actually building a relationship with somebody who's going to need your products and services more and more and more as they grow.
Right. But I think what people don't often understand or sometimes overlook is the impact that having a heavily weighted ideal customer portfolio, the positive impact that can have on the rest of the organization. From an operational perspective, even from a talent perspective and retention perspective, having a strong focus on building a customer portfolio that's made up of ideal customers has a positive impact that goes well beyond just, revenue and ultimately profitability.
So, identifying your ideal customers is the first step. And while Eric said it's a relatively simple process, it's easy to get bogged down with the sheer amount of data you have available to you in your CRM, or Customer Relationship Management Program. You want to arm your sales staff with the right customers that meet the criteria of your ideal customer profile. And there's definitely a profiling process you need to follow to get them that information.
Generally we'll start with an 80-20 analysis of a company's current client roster. Get a feel for what that looks like. Then take a look at the companies that make up the 20% that are driving 80% of the revenue. Determine what characteristics there are across those companies that are common. So that could be anything from, they're all in the same revenue range. So, one company may be a great fit for companies that are, between $10 million and $200 million in revenue. And that's a number that's pretty readily available, or at least you can get a good feel for that. Mm-hmm. Other companies may be a better fit for 500 million to billion or billion plus type companies. Yeah. Again, a pretty easy number to get at. So that's an indicator that's pretty straightforward. That gives you a feel for the types of companies. And, really what happens, it's a great illustration of, what happens when a company gets out of their ideal customer range. So if a company is built to service, mid-market companies, $50 to $200 million companies, if they get an opportunity with Caterpillar or General Dynamics, chances are they're going to get really, really excited about that opportunity. They're going to go in there, with their guns ablazing. Right. And when they get in there, they're going to realize, their guns are really a cap gun or a pop gun. And they're quickly going to find out that kind of the massive...
They're a little over their head.
Yeah, and the massive overhead required to work with companies of that magnitude are something they're just not ready for. Right. They're in over their head. And so you could spend a lot of time doing that, and you can get a sales group that's all excited that we're going to go after this whale.
Right.
And you find out quickly that the rest of the organization's not ready for that, and you can spend a lot of time and money and travel and energy chasing something that you're probably not going to win because you're just not set up to win.
Right.
So that's why it's so important to really know who to go after, because it's not just ones that you think are going to be good for your business. It's got to be ones that you think you're going to win.
Right.
And then that you're ultimately going to be successful in delivering on.
Yeah, there's, going after whales, that's great, but, fishing for trout is fun too.
Well, a common analogy is, hitting singles,
Yeah.
versus swinging for the fences. And, every organization should do a little bit of both, but they should probably spend 80% of their time, hitting solid singles with customers that, they're well positioned to, win the business and then
Right.
deliver on the promises that they make. And then, 3-4 times a year, swing for the fences and, see what happens. None of that is possible if you don't know who your ideal customer is,
Right.
because then you're just swinging in the dark. And once you've got a framework for your ideal customer, one of the important next steps is to essentially develop a ranking system for your current customers, and then also to be used as a filter for your new customer acquisition efforts. One of the things we find that the ideal customer profiles become is truly a filter, and they help with the decision-making process. So if you have as a leader, if you have a salesperson come to you and say, hey, I've got an opportunity, I'm going to fly to Dallas to meet with this company. Is it okay if I spend $1,500? If you don't have an ideal customer profile, you really don't have the ammunition that you need to make a good decision.
Right.
You don't know if the salesperson is going there to, pursue a customer that, it may take you 5 years to make your $1,500 back, or whether they're going there to pursue a customer that could end up in millions of dollars of revenue, for years to come.
Right.
So using the ideal customer profile as a decision-making tool, I think is one of the most enlightening things that I see our customers do. So going through and developing a ranking criteria, or could be ABC customers, whatever you want to call them. Going through your existing customer base, whether it's 10 customers or 10,000 customers, giving each of them a grade or a score, and then using that information to inform the decisions that you make as far as, how are you going to allocate resources, where are you going to make investments in order to grow, and, what are some potential customers of yours that, maybe you should encourage to go on to a new partner. One of the things that we're seeing with one of our customers is they're, kind of culling the bottom of their customer list, and their customers saying, wait, we're actually doing a lot more of this business than we're giving you, and we don't want to go away. Do you want to bid on this, or do you want to bid on this? So now, a customer that they perceived as a low value customer really likes working with them, and is willing to actually give them more business and work their way up into a B or even an A customer. So just having the dialogue and having the conversation sometimes is enough to, move a customer, deeper into your organization and allow you to grow a deeper relationship.
To help you identify your company's ideal customers, we've developed an ideal customer profiling tool. To download it, simply visit thevxgroup.com/problemswe'resolving and click on the episode. Thank you for listening to the VX Group's Problems We're Solving. My name is Eric LaRose, and remember, any problem is a problem we're solving. Problems We're Solving is a production of the VX Group. With offices in Cedarburg, Wisconsin and Charleston, South Carolina, the VX Group is a sales modernization company that exists solely to grow top-line revenue for our customers, offering solutions for new customer acquisition, sales team performance, sales channel development, sales team recruiting, and sales operations. For more information about the show, visit thevxgroup.com/problemswe'resolving.